On this episode of Left Off the Map, we are showing off some of my favourite places to visit on the northwest coast of Tasmania. Olympian Amy Cure and I are tasting oysters at Tarkine Fresh Oysters. Then I'm heading to Tasmania with friend and wine expert Curly Haslam Coates. And we will finish with Henry and Anna Terry at an antiques emporium in my hometown of Devonport. After that, I'm on the beach cooking chicken skewers over charcoal. But to start with, I'm going to cook directly over the coals at my favourite beach at Hawley, a beachside sea town on the northwest coast of Tasmania. I'm at Hawley Beach. I've got a shack just up there. So from the moment I can pretty much remember, from about 4 through to now, we would come here during school holidays at summertime and I would come down to this beach. This is where I learnt to fish, this is where I learnt to dive, this is where I learnt to surf actually. The beach just around there. You wouldn't know it now looking at how flat that water is, but sometimes you get good surf here. Because I've got my barbecue with me, I'm going to do some fish on the barbecue. I'm going to serve a little side salad to go with it. A side salad made up of rice, quinoa, kiwi fruit, avocado, lots of Mexican flavours. So to make my salad, I'm going to take cooked quinoa and cooked rice, pop it into a bowl, and then mix through that half a diced red onion, a full kiwi fruit that I'll skin and dice, some lemon juice, olive oil, diced avocado, a diced red chilli, and some fresh picked mint and coriander. Final thing I want to add to this salad is pickled jalapenos. Now, if you're not a fan of pickled jalapenos, I implore you to give them a try. They're absolutely delicious. The heat that is normally in a jalapeno is taken out slightly by the pickle. So I've got probably a tablespoon to 2 tablespoons of pickled jalapenos, which I'll dice finely and pop them through my salad. They make for a nice little heat, sweet and sour explosion through your salad. And when you think about trying to balance a dish, they're the kind of things that you're after. Sweet, sour and heat is always going to make a dish better in my mind. All right, that's the salad done. Now to cook the fish, if you're cooking on a barbecue like this, I'm cooking over charcoal, cook skin side down and wait. You need to cook it for 95% of the time on the skin. Otherwise, the skin will stick to these are like little cake racks I've got on top. The skin will stick to that. But if you let it sit, you let that skin dry out and go nice and crispy, it'll pull itself naturally off the little cake rack. So my biggest tip I can give you when cooking directly over coals or cooking outside like this is let it sit for a while so that you're not grabbing hold of it and ripping it apart when you're trying to turn it. So 95% of the cooking will be done on the skin. This takes the cake for the best beach in the world. If I had to put in a vote for where I would send someone, if I was sending them to what I think is the best beach in the world, this would be it. Now, it's because there's a lot of nostalgia linked to this place for me, and as I said before, this is where I grew up, this is where I learned to do all the things that I love about the ocean in my life. But if you ever come to Tasmania, come to Hawley Beach. This is called Main Beach, or Hawley Beach, basically. There's 3 other beaches, one a little bit further along that way, and one a little bit further along that way, but Main Beach at Hawley is the place to come. Now we're off to discover some of my favourite places to visit on the northwest coast of Tasmania. We're heading to Smithton. There's a growing reputation for oysters coming out of a place called Tarkine Fresh Oysters. So we're going to check them out. What's your experience with oysters been like?
Ooh. Yeah, look, when I was younger, I tried some oysters at the local pub.
Yeah.
And they were just very plain. And I had a friend that liked oysters and a friend of my parents, and they asked if I'd tried one, and I said no. And they said, you have to try one. So I tried one, and I really didn't like it at all. Like, I went to the bathroom and just spat it out.
Yeah,
Not good.
These will be different. Fresh oysters, good oysters. So many people have a bad recollection. It's exactly that. It's a pub oyster.
Yeah.
They're not like that when they're fresh.
Yeah.
These guys have a great reputation now. We can turn you around on oysters. Tarkine Fresh Oysters was started by John Polk 40 years ago with only one employee. The company is now run by his daughter, Cassie Plaza, and employs over 20 full-time staff. We're checking out the recently opened cafe where we can sample the seafood directly from the water in Morgan's Bay. So now you've had what I consider to be some of the best oysters I've ever eaten. What do you think?
Yeah, they really were. I was not expecting it. They were really nice. They didn't taste like I was in
that memory.
No, they were really good, and I was quite surprised actually by I think it was the strawberry and tomato salsa one.
I didn't think that was going to work, but that.
No, but it was really, it was very nice. I really enjoyed that one, and obviously the Kilpatrick is always amazing because bacon makes everything taste good.
Yeah, classic Kilpatrick.
Yeah, but I really was very shocked by it and really, really enjoyed them. They're definitely something that I would eat more of.
Tasmania's hedge maize was planted by Brian and Laura Inder in 1987, and at the time it was the largest in the world. At Tasmania, there's a total of 8 mazes, a lavender farm, and a 1/5 scale model village called the Village of Lower Crackpot. Even though I don't have my kids with me on this visit, this place has a sense of magic and whimsy that people of all ages can get lost in. Well, you've been here before. This is my first time. It's better than I expected. I've heard so many great things about it from Brian himself and from other people who have been here. And Brian talks about a few things. One, the loos, the maize itself, and the pancakes. We're going to try the pancakes later.
Hurrah.
But now that I'm here, it's awesome. And it's again one of those places that I'm a local. This isn't far away from where I live, but I just haven't been here.
It's fantastic, and it's the fun. That's
Yeah.
the whole point of it. It is just good old-fashioned fun. Running around, playing on things, getting a bit lost. It's a really special little place.
And the man that created it all, eccentric, quirky, now I've been here, I understand him more. Because if I had this place, that's what I would be. I would be creating new things all the time and pushing boundaries and coming up with new ideas and tinkering away. And he's been doing that for many, many years. This place has been around for a long time and it gets better. Every time he adds something else to it, it just gets better and better and better. All right, do you want to go try some pancakes? They're meant to be brilliant.
Always. Bring me the pancakes.
Let's go.
Hey, hi guys, how are you?
I'm Henry.
John.
Good to meet you,
Nice
John.
to-
I'm Anna.
Anna, nice to see
meet
you.
you.
Yeah.
I
What do you
assume
guys
you're
do?
the owner of Antique Emporium?
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Unbelievable, this place. I cannot believe how much.
Great. I'm glad you
stuff
like
there
it.
is. Yeah.
We've already got lost.
Yeah, well, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do people just get trapped in here all day?
Yeah. They do. They spend hours, and look, sometimes they've got to get their phone out to find their partner.
Yeah.
So,
How did you get started with Antique Emporium?
well, it started when I was 14, and I dreamt about, as a kid, travelling the world buying and going to all these crazy places and bringing things back. And so 26 years later, it all happened. And now, 17 years later, it's evolved into this, and we're now the largest in Tasmania.
Incredible. I wouldn't doubt that for a second because there's just piles of everything.
Yeah.
Very interesting. So you knew from a boy that this is what you wanted to do?
I did. It was a boyhood dream. On the back of a comic, I used to see all these things in America, and I thought that's what I want to do one day. And now I do it, and I go all over the world to different countries, to America, to UK, India, Rajasthan, Pakistan, and we fill up shipping containers and bring it back here.
How do you do that? When you're overseas, how are you actually sourcing some of this?
Well, we go out and we just do door knocking, just like the American pickers. So we do that all over the world. We do it here in Tasmania, 10 to 20 houses a week, and truckloads of things come in.
Do you ever know what you're looking for, or do you just sort of go in and just be surprised?
That's the fun of it, Anna.
Yeah.
You never know what it is that you're going to get. And as a picker, that's fantastic because you've got to decide, what can I do with this? You'd love to find something that you know what you want to do with, but the trick is to do with what you find.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
John, would you give us the tour?
Let's go and have a look and I'll show you what we've got.
Brilliant.
Now back to the beach where I'm cooking chicken skewers over charcoal. Welcome to the main beach at Hawley. Well, this suburb is actually called Hawley Beach. It's a beach suburb on sort of central northern Tasmania, and this is where I grew up. This is where we would come for school holidays every Christmas time through to the time we went back to school. So I'd spend 4 weeks out here, and it was the best 4 weeks of my life. It's my favourite beach in the entire world. So while we're here, so I can relax and chill at the beach, I'm going to do a really, really quick recipe. I've got some chicken thighs, some pesto, a lemon and rice, and that's all I need for this. I'm going to skewer the thighs onto these skewers. and then I'm gonna brush it, or actually I'll marinate it in the bowl. The pesto and some lemon juice will go in the bowl. I'll marinate my thighs in that and thread them on to these skewers, char-grill them and serve them with some rice with a charred lemon dressing. So, charred lemon dressing, what I'm gonna do is chop my lemon in half. That half will go in there and this half will go on my charcoal, and I'll char, and it completely changes the flavour. I'll char that component of it. Pesto in with my chicken, about a tablespoon. My lemon juice in with my chicken, juice of half a lemon, a pinch of salt. Mix all that around. And then I'm going to let that sit for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then we'll get that over the charcoal. Now these little charcoal barbecues like I've got are fantastic, but if you don't have one of these, you can just dig a hole in the ground in the wet sand, throw your charcoal in there, light it, and the radiant heat, you can just get, these are basically cake racks, hit a cake rack over the top, and you're away. Now the skewers will be hot, so be careful taking them out. And that's actually one of the good things about having the metal skewers. They heat up and it helps cook the inside of the chicken. On days like this, when you're cooking on the beach and you're cooking over charcoal, you want to keep things as simple as you possibly can. That's why pre-made marinades are fantastic for these kind of recipes, because when you're at the beach, you want to eat tasty food, but you want it to be quick and simple. So I've got some prawns with the shells on, and I've added my marinade, my sort of simmer sauce or marinade in with the prawns. I'll let them sit for about 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna just pull the prawn on the shell onto this little metal skewer, and we'll char them over the charcoal and serve them with some rice. The leftover sauce that's in there can go directly on top of the prawns when we serve it with the rice. So the prawns will only take about 4 minutes, 2 minutes on each side, and lots of the flavour is going to come from the shell. So if you can get prawns with the shell on, I advise you do so. And then just pull them apart. In the head, there's lots of flavour as well. So once you take it apart, squeeze the head on top like a little dressing before you eat the meat. And at the end, I popped my simmer sauce into a stainless steel bowl and heated it up in there so it got boiling, so you're adding that nice warm simmer sauce on top.